Today, Nolly Elementary would like to recognize all of our May Leaders of the Month. We are so proud of all of these students for their outstanding leadership in the classroom, playground, lunchroom, and also always displaying the 7 habits at Nolly School. Today, I will recognize each student in each grade level and tell you a little something about them. Okay, we're going to start with our kindergartners. The first student is in Mrs. Zukowski's class and is Gentry England. Gentry is being recognized for beginning with the end in mind. Mrs. Zukowski said Gentry made it her goal to read a book all by herself. She practiced many times and was able to read her book independently. Great job, Gentry. Also, we have Owen Young. Owen puts first things first. Owen comes into class every day ready to learn. Owen has proactively completed his morning work each day. Also in Mrs. Zukowski's room, we have Violet Phillips. Violet is being recognized for being proactive. Violet is a proactive at Nolly School. She knows the importance of always trying her best. In Mrs. Parton's room, we have Lola Hubbard. Lola synergizes. Mrs. Parton said Lola brings happiness to our classroom. She smiles at everyone and loves to help out and make others happy. Lola, we are so blessed to have you in our room. In Mrs. Craig's room, we have Gracie Hughes. Gracie is being recognized for being proactive. Gracie tries her best every day. She comes to school with a wonderful, positive mindset. Mrs. Craig said, I appreciate all of her efforts with learning. Way to go, Gracie. Keep working hard. In Mrs. Goubau's room, our first student is Bryn Strader. Bryn thinks win-win. Bryn is always helping out in our classroom, keeping it clean and getting ready for the next day. Thank you, Bryn. We also have Lucy Santa Maria. Lucy is proactive and puts first things first. Lucy comes into class ready to learn and get started on her work right away. Way to go, Lucy. We also have a couple students learning online. Our first student is Tristan Simmons. Tristan Simmons is showing more leadership in our classroom. Mrs. Guerreri said he continues to show more interest and is participating in class. Keep up all of your good work, Tristan. Also in Mrs. Guerreri's class, we have Shane Eisman. Shane has been working hard this year. Mrs. Guerreri said he continues to demonstrate all he has learned through this year in various activities in class. Keep up your hard work, Shane. Okay, now I'm going to recognize our first grade leaders of the month. Our first one is in Mrs. Bowser's room, and it is Weston Smith. Weston is kind to all of his classmates and has worked very hard to improve his reading fluency. Great job, Weston. We also have Kinley Garrison. Kinley puts forth outstanding effort during reading group time and is always willing to lend a helping hand in the classroom. Great job, Kinley. In Mrs. Carmichael's room, I have Isaac Chapman. Isaac thinks win-win and synergizes. Isaac is a leader in our room and is always ready to lend a helping hand to his classmates. Thank you for being so kind, Isaac, and working so hard. Great job. Also, we have Seth Nelson in Mrs. Carmichael's room, and he is being recognized for being proactive. Seth has a positive attitude about learning and works hard each day. We welcome this new leader of the month. In Mrs. Fiesler's room, I have Sydney Jusak. Sydney seeks first to understand. Mrs. Fiesler said Sydney has adjusted back to in-person learning with a positive attitude and a good work ethic. Keep working hard, Sydney. Okay, now we're going to move on to our second grade leaders of the month. The first one is Liam Glendenning in Mrs. Slimak's room. Liam is being recognized for being proactive. Liam has worked so hard in second grade. He's been making many proactive choices and taking responsibility for his work. We also have Avery Evans. Avery synergizes. Avery returned from mods to in-person learning seamlessly. She is able to synergize with her classmates to complete tasks each day. In Mrs. Rankin's room, we have Lindy Hubbard. Lindy is beginning to put first things first. She's a bright girl who's going to do very well in third grade. Keep working hard over the summer, Lindy. Way to go. In Mrs. Van Dorsten's room, we have Gavin Patterson. Gavin synergizes. Mrs. V said Gavin always follows habit 6 and synergizes well with everyone in the class. Great job, Gavin. We also have Jovan Hernjack. Jovan seeks first to understand. Mrs. Van Dorsten said Jovan is working hard at listening to his teacher when he gets upset or doesn't understand, and he asks if he needs help. Way to go, Jovan. In Mrs. Grandin's room, we have Savannah Nickel. Savannah puts first things first. Mrs. Grandin said she had seen a great deal of growth with Savannah this year, putting first things first. When her classroom leadership job needs done, she's on it. She gets all of her work done before she goes to a station to sharpen the saw. We also have Olivia Young. Olivia puts first things first. When many students start slowing down from spring fever, Olivia has picked it up. Mrs. Grandin said, "I am so impressed with her effort of putting first things first in regards to her learning. Keep it up, Olivia." We also have Carly Heaton. Carly synergizes. Mrs. Grandin said, "I am so glad that Carly has joined our room this year. She is so helpful to her and is such a synergizer with everyone in the class. She is kind to all." And last in Mrs. Grandin's room, we have Lexi Kenley. Lexi puts first things first. Mrs. Grandin said, "I have seen a lot of growth with Lexi this year. She is a smart young lady, but when she is disappointed in her work, she has been taking ownership of it by going over it again and trying to learn from mistakes. She is putting first things first with her learning. Keep up all of your hard work, Lexi." Okay, now we're going to recognize our third grade leaders of the month. The first one is in Mrs. Braley's homeroom, and that is Remy Kunkler. Remy begins with the end in mind. Remy has really been working hard to write a little neater, smaller, and darker. He was so excited to show Mrs. Braley his handwriting on a paper where he did it right the first time. Mrs. Braley said, "I am so proud of you, Remy, on all of your hard work this year." We also have Darla Knowles. Darla thinks win-win and synergizes. Mrs. Braley said, "Darla is such a kind friend. She always wants to help others if she can. She will be a great addition to the fourth grade team next year." We also have Grayson Hausch in Mrs. Stasnis's room, who puts first things first. Grayson has worked really hard this year to slow down and carefully complete his work with excellent attention to detail. We have Laura Johnson. Laura thinks win-win. Mrs. Stasnis said Laura has the best ideas on how we can all be a great team, and she has the most fun personality. She is a great friend. In Mr. Straub's room, we have Vieira King, who is proactive. Mr. Straub said Vieira jumps in with both feet in everything she does. He loves her gusto and enthusiasm. We also have Fred Jones. Fred puts first things first. Mr. Straub said Fred does a great job of getting his work done first so he can sharpen the saw later. And in Mrs. Esterly's room, we have Braden Morris. Braden seeks first to understand. Braden always asks questions when he doesn't understand something, and he is a great listener. Great job, Braden. We also have Sully Gaylor. Sully synergizes. Mrs. Esterly said Sully is a leader in every sense. He has created a class government for our class to complete with laws. Very good, Sully. Way to go. Okay, last we're going to recognize our fourth grade leaders of the month. The first student is in Mrs. Toth's room, and that is Riley Moore. Riley is proactive. Mrs. Toth said, "Riley is such a proactive student. She is often getting things done for me before I even ask her. Thank you so much, Riley." Also in Mrs. Toth's room, we have Cole Wayman. Cole puts first things first. Mrs. Toth said Cole created and performed an inspiring song on the morning announcements to motivate students during their testing time. How cool was that? Thanks for your leadership, Cole. In Mrs. Gardner's room, we have Ariana Kajati. Ariana puts first things first. Mrs. Gardner said Ariana comes to school every day with a smile on her face and is ready to learn. She is a friend to all. We are so proud of you, Ariana. Also in Mrs. Gardner's room, we have Hunter Porco. Hunter puts first things first. Hunter has been a very responsible, hardworking student every day in fourth grade. We are so proud of you, Hunter. In Mrs. Oakes' room, we have Brooklyn McNulty. Brooklyn is proactive. Brooklyn is amazing. She is quick to jump in and complete a task before Mrs. Oakes even has to ask. She is a true leader and will make me proud when she goes to the middle school. We also have Coy Lindemann. Coy puts first things first. Coy is a wonderful leader who exhibits all of the 7 habits. He is a hard worker and treats his classmates respectfully. He is an asset to our classroom and will be to middle school. In Mrs. Matson's room, we have Bria Brinkley. Bria synergizes. Mrs. Matson said Bria is a very sweet girl who follows the rules and is a friend to all. Thank you, Bria. Also, we have Ray Kunkler. Ray begins with the end in mind. Ray is a respectful and kind boy. He has stood up to other people to defend his friends. Way to go, Ray. Keep up your hard work and friendship. In Mrs. Millville's online room, we have Jude Stallard Navallo. Mrs. Millville said Jude has been working very hard in her class. Mrs. Millville has been offering private tutoring to go over math and reading homework after class. The class lasts for about 20 minutes. Jude is one of the students that has taken advantage of this every single time it's offered. Jude is working very, very hard to make sure he understands all of his work. He is definitely putting first things first. Way to go, Jude. Congratulations to all of our May NALI Leaders of the Month. The entire staff at NALI is so proud of you. We hope that every one of you have a fantastic summer, and we can't wait to see you in the fall. Enjoy.